previous two lectures, you have seen what do you mean by query processing and how the queries are actually processed and how the trees are formed, how we are going to optimize the execution of queries. Today's topic of discussion is transaction. What do you mean by a transaction? See, in a database, when we try to write a query, rather any user may write a query. So the query can be of any type, maybe of a creation data of a database, manipulation of a database, updation of a database. So query can be of any type. So any activity which is performed on a database is called as a transaction. That's a very simple or lay definition of your transaction. Okay, so any activity which is performed on a database is called as a transaction. Okay, that you can remember. But when we go for a formal definition of it, it's a logical unit of processing in a DBMS which entails one or more database access operations. Okay, so a logical unit of processing. So a unit in which some action or some access operation is performed. Means we are going to access a database and perform some action on that. Okay, that action may be anything, modification or simply displaying the database or uh, updation of the database or creation of a database, so which involves a access operation. So in a nutshell, database transaction represents a real world event of any enterprise. Okay, so how these transactions take place, how they are created, how they are arranged, how they are managed, and how they are going to affect a database, that we are going to see in this particular unit. Okay. So all types of database access operations which are held between the beginning and end of transaction statement are called as a single logical transaction. Okay, and these transactions are really very small units, but we need to take care that those transactions need to be executed properly and must be ended properly. Okay, because databases, when you are talking about modification of a database, it's okay. We had several queries which was simply displaying the database, which was not affecting the database in any way. Okay, it will just access the database and display it for the user. But when we are trying to update certain database, at that time, the primary thing which we need to always take care is the database must maintain the consistency and integrity. What do you mean by consistency? If you are making some changes and that attribute, the change in the attribute is affecting the other attributes present in the table, that in the relation, that then those changes must be consequently applied and on the other attributes. Okay, so if some change in one like deleting a student from a list may not may not lead to deletion of the course itself, because other students are also present in that course. Okay, so if the student is removed, if the student has left the institute, then it is no way should affect the existence of courses. So that consistency has to be maintained along with the integrity, because database is nothing but, or DBMS is a collection of different databases, different relations. So changes in one relation may affect the other relations. That should also not happen. So integrity and consistency is must. So any transaction you perform on a database must uniquely be created, uniquely be executed, and uniquely be committed. What do you mean by committed? Means the changes made by that transaction must be reflected properly in the database. Okay, so that is why we are saying the transaction need to be executed completely, and if in case it is not getting executed completely, then we'll have to revert the changes which are temporarily made by that transaction. Okay. Many a times you are working on you are working on or using many shopping sites like Amazon or Flipkart or something like that. You go for the purchase, you put it in the card, you go for the buy now option, and at the last moment there are chances that you may change your mind and just uh, drop the idea of buying that item. So at that time, all the transactions are done. The item is put in your cart, and it's a order is created. But at the last moment, you are changing your uh, mood and denying for transaction, or sometimes you may transact, you may do the money transaction, and because of some reason, the money transaction doesn't happen. At that time, it is never it doesn't happen that the material is delivered to you. It will be that order will be cancelled, and all the changes which are made during this transaction will be taken back, will be rolled back, and you will be at the original position. Okay, so these transactions are the logical units, or in this case, the logical unit is purchasing an item from a shopping website, which includes the selection of item, um, uh, putting the order information, putting the quantity, and doing the payment. So all this together is going to give me a single transaction, which will help me to buy a thing. But any of these steps is declined or not properly executed, the whole transaction is rolled back. We are going to revert the entire transaction. Okay, so the transaction plays an important role. Hence, all the operations which are performed on the database are considered as a small logical unit, that is called as a transaction, and we take care that every logical unit is properly executed. Okay? Properly executed. If it is beginning, then it must end on a proper note. That end may be a successful end, or maybe uh, aborting that particular transaction, but it should be a success of transaction system. And only once the database is committed, the state is changed from consistent state to another. Okay, one consistent state to another. So that's what I am saying. The consistency need to be maintained. So it's not like immediately if some transaction is done and it is going to be reflected. No, it will take care that all the changes are done, and then only it will be reflected in the final one. So this diagram will properly explain you. So this is the beginning of transaction. This is a timeline. From this, we are going to traverse, and we we end the date here. So their database is in some consistent state, or some it is in existence, and some values are in existence in that database. But during this transaction, it is going to make some small changes. Okay, so let us go for one example. I want to transfer. There is account A and there is a account B. Okay, in account A we have rupees 100. In account B we have rupees 100. Now I want to transfer rupees 50 from account A to account B. Okay, it's a simple transaction which is a usual transaction which we conduct. Okay, from account A to account B we are transferring rupees amount of 50 rupees. Okay, now in this simple transaction, what is the initial state? Account A balance 100, account B balance 100. Okay, so that is a simple transaction or simple consistent state. This is the consistent state of a database. before initiating the transaction at the beginning of transaction at this state. Okay, this is the stage. A is balance 100, B is balance 100. Now what is expected at the end of transaction? Rupees 50 will be transferred from A to B. So A will be having rupees 50 balance and B will be having rupees 150 balance. Okay, this is our expected state. Now, how this transaction will happen? What will happen? This transaction is going to first read A. Okay, it is going to read A, balance of A. Okay, so this is A is equal to 100. Now, what it is going to do? A is equal to A minus 50. Am I right? It is going to do this. Then it is what it is going to do. B is equal to B plus 50. Of course, read B will also be there. We'll have to read B first. Okay, and now write B. The changes are made in B. Let us say that along with this, I am also writing A. Fine. So in this case, what are the options happening, or what are the things happening? First of all, we have read A. Now we got the information A is equal to 50. Then A is deducted by 50 rupees. A is equal to 100, and then 50 rupees is deducted from A, and I have written A. Now at this point, what is the value of A? Value of A is 50. And what is the value of B? B is 100. At step number 3, that is write A. At step number 3, we have A is equal to 50 because 50 is already deducted, and B is equal to 100 because uh, 50 is not yet added to B. And at this moment, something happens and transaction goes off. A transaction gets aborted. A transaction gets cancelled. Okay, so 50 is already deducted from A. It is not yet added to B, and now the transaction is aborted because of some reason. And what will be happening? These will be the changes which are going to take place. So A becomes 50, B becomes 100. So there is a loss of rupees 50 in this transaction. We have lost rupees 50. It is nowhere. It was in between. Lost rupees 50 means we have lost the value. We have lost the value. Okay, A is already changed and B is not yet changed. So there actually A plus B should always be equal to 200. It should be A is 100, B is 100, it is equal to 200. At the end, A is 50, B is 150, it is equal to 200. So A plus B should be 200. That is the consistency of our database we want to maintain. But as after the third instruction, there was a cancellation of transaction, the rupees 50 is lost. And we are not able to maintain the consistency of A plus B is equal to 200. Okay, so here is the problem with transactions. So if we are committing or we are not maintaining a sequence proper, instead what can we do? Instead of writing A here, uh, instead of making the changes A here, we will not make the changes till we transfer B, transfer 50 to B. After this, if I am write A and write B, then probably the operation will be easy. Okay, so even if I have deducted rupees 50 From A, we have not finalized that change. Then we will add 50 to B, and after that, we are going to write B and we are going to write A. Okay, and see again, उसमें भी what may happen is we have not written A, so and let us say that at this stage, so now our this transaction is not there. Huh? So first statement is read A, second is A is equal to A minus 50, read B, B is equal to B plus 50, write B and write A. Okay, so this is the fifth step now. At this moment, let us say that this step is done. So at this moment, A is equal to 100. We have not written, we have not made any changes to A. B is equal to 150 because we have made changes to B. So again, the consistency is not maintained if there is a failure at this moment. If there is a failure at this moment, again the changes are not done and we have A plus B is equal to 250, which is again we are losing consistency because A plus B should always be equal to 200. There's the consistency requirement. Okay. So unless and until this statement gets executed, there will be no changes made in. There will there will not be the maintenance of consistency. So what happens after all these statements? All these statements final. Okay, commit statement. Now we have finalized all the changes. Commit all these changes to the database. So that's a final command which we give to the DBA that now all the changes are done. The data is properly written. Reflect all those changes, all these changes to the database. Okay, that is a commit statement we need to use. Okay, and unless until we hit a commit statement, the changes, temporary changes or intermediate changes made by that transaction will not be reflected to the database. Okay, once commit is there, all the changes will be reflected and the database will come from one consistent state to another. What was first consistent state? A is equal to 100, B is equal to 100 and A plus B is equal to 200. The second consistent state is A is equal to 50, B is equal to 150 and A plus B is equal to 200. Okay, so during this transaction, whatever changes happen will not be reflected till we hit a commit button or we hit a commit command. Okay, so anytime at any point of time, if the transaction fails, all the changes can be rolled back. There will be no changes happening in the first consistent state. Is it okay? Have you understood? If you have understood, please respond or at least type yes in the chat box so that we can proceed.
Yes, sir.
So now this transaction from begin state to end state, it undergoes several phases that we are going to see one by one. And second thing is now in the same example, this is one transaction. We are transferring rupees 100, rupees 50 from account 1, account A to account B. At the very moment, there is another transaction which comes into picture and asks to read data from A. This is a transaction. Okay. So parallel transaction can always be executed. We cannot dedicate the whole database management system to execute only one transaction because it will be a wastage of resource. So we execute parallel transactions. They are called as concurrent transactions. They execute concurrently. They are executing simultaneously. And there is a transaction which is demanding information from A or the value of A. there may be a problem of reading or leading to a wrong information. Okay, so that care also we need to take. So we need to maintain concurrency at a very proper stage when we are sharing the resources. So database is a shared resource access, and it is used for many users and processes concurrently. So there is no avoidance of concurrency. We cannot say that only one system, one person can use that. Okay. At the same moment, there are several people who are using the portal. Let us talk about the railway reservation system. In the railway reservation system, it nowadays it was in older days we had to go to the railway station. There we need to be standing in queue and then book a ticket. So it was lesser hectic. There will be 10, 15 counters, and we will go there and book our ticket. But nowadays we can book your ticket from your mobile, computer, from home, from any website, not necessarily railways website like Make My Trip and all those are also providing the railway ticket booking. So there are several people who can concurrently access that portal and try to book a ticket. And you, most of you are well experienced that if you are trying to book a ticket, there is sometimes it happens that the same seat number is allotted to two passengers. It happens, but uh, this happens because of the concurrent transactions. There means there was a failure. Actually, that is a failure of DBMS to database management system to address that concurrency, and because of the proper not proper communication or time lapse or time clash, rather not lapse, time clash, there is a possibility that only the same seat is allocated for two passengers. But when you go there and you find that someone is already there on your seat, you just talk to the TC and you find that one of the seat is already vacant, and you get the seat. Okay, may not be the same seat, but at a very moment you find that out of there are 72 seats in a coach. So, or I'm talking about coach only. So, if one seat is allotted to two people, one seat will always be vacant. So database, even if fails at handling the concurrency of the transaction, it doesn't fail at maintaining the consistency. So ultimately, only 72 seats are reserved. There is a possibility that same seat is allocated for two people, but there is always there will always be a seat which will be vacant, and consistently only 72 seats will be allocated. Okay, so this way the concurrency is handled. This is just an example overview how the concurrency happens and handled. So uh, but we are going to see how those are handled in a very proper way. So yes, we cannot avoid concurrency. There will be concurrency of transaction so that all the resources can be properly maintained. Okay, so concurrent access may create the issues like hardware failure or system crashes, concurrent execution of the same transaction, or deadlock or slow परफॉर्मेंस, ये सारी चीजें होती रहेगी उसमें एज एन. कभी कभी हमें जैसे रिजल्ट के दिन हम लोग देखते हैं तो साइट बहुत ज्यादा बुक होता है, या फिर तत्काल सिस्टम के लिए जाते हो तो आपको साइट बहुत ज्यादा बिजी नजर आता है. तो if there are huge number of concurrent transactions appearing, of course there may be a system crash, there may be a hardware failure, there may be a delay, there may be a deadlock. Nothing happens. We need to abort the transaction and start from new. So these things happen, but first thing is we are talking about transaction which begins and ends, and in between beginning and end, it makes some changes in the database, which we don't reflect till the end happens, so that consistency of the database maintains and the database properly gets changed from one consistent state to another. But second thing, we are yes, the changes, temporary changes are happening because of one transaction, and simultaneously there may be many transactions working on the same database. At that moment again, the changes may be made by those other transactions also, and that will either, और एक बात तो पक्की है कि कितने भी ट्रांजैक्शंस एक साथ आए, डेटाबेस एक ट्रांजैक्शन को ही एक साथ हैंडल करने वाला है. Okay, you are learning system software, so you can understand the scheduling part, the CPU scheduling or disk scheduling which happens. So ultimately CPU is going to execute only one operation at a time, but it needs to give a feel of concurrent transactions being executed simultaneously. So it need to means there are temporary changes made by an individual transaction, and there are accesses made by concurrent transactions. So there may be a huge confusion while using the shared resources, and that may lead to a slower performance or a deadlock or hardware failure or system crash, even a system crash. So those things need to be handled properly, and then only the database essence will come into picture. Now, when we talk about what kind of operations a transaction may take or perform, is a user's program may carry out many operations on the data retrieved on DBMS. Okay, many operations. But at the back end, there are only two main operations which are considered. Is the read operation and write operation. Okay, DBMS is going to either read the data or write the data. Write the data means make changes in the data or update the data and read the data. Now, if I'm talking about reading a data, the cursor only goes to the point, reads that data, takes that information and display it or provides it to the query or to the DBA, okay, or the administrative programs. Only it is going to read the data. So if one data is there and is going to try to read A, it is going to get 100. There are 10 transactions which are trying to read A. It is going to get value 100. There may be hundreds or thousands of transactions simultaneously reading, do the read operation on A. All are going to get the same information. So as long as the read operation is there, this database has no confusion. Everyone is going to get the same data. Problem happens only if we are performing a write operation. When there is a write operation, means we are going to update or make some changes in the data, and at the when one transaction is trying to write the data, make changes in the data, and simultaneously if some other transaction comes and try to make the changes, there will be a conflict. Or it is a possibility that one transaction is trying to make some changes and another is trying to read that data, there will be a conflict. So the problem will be when we have two transactions performing write and read operation simultaneously or write and write operation simultaneously. Then only the problem will happen. So we need to address that problem, or here we are trying to narrow down our problem statement. So we are not going to talk, we are thinking about the all operations which may be performed on the data which is retrieved from the database, but we are only concerned about two things: reading the data and writing the data. Here also we are removing the reading part, because every time if the transaction is only read, it is going to get the correct data. Problem comes, conflict happens only if we are writing the data. Okay. So the DBMS transaction is the execution of program that includes database access operations, and which has begin transaction, read, write, and end transaction operations. And now after end transaction, the commit transaction, as I said you. So जैसे हमने वो एग्जांपल देखा, उसमें a is equal to a minus 50 और b is equal to b plus 50 are actually the operations which you are performing on the retrieved database. That is not a read operation, nor a write operation. Okay. So database has nothing to do with those operations. What you are performing, what arithmetic operations you are performing on the data which is read, DBMS is least bothered about that. So for DBMS, from begin to end transaction, how many read operations are there, how many write operations are there, that's the only way of consideration, or only matter of consideration. Okay, so the transaction will be very simple. Begin the transaction, see the read operations, see the write operations, and end the transaction. Once the transaction is ended, is completed, then only commit the transaction. Okay, so it bothers about. And also, if commit is not happening, we should be able to abort the transaction at a proper node, which will not make any damages to the previous consistent state of the database. We should be able to undo all the changes which are made, and probably we should also be able to redo all the changes which we have made. Okay, so concurrent execution of user programs is essential for good DKMS performance. So concurrency तो हमें maintain करनी ही है, लेकिन वो उसके लिए हमें ये transaction, our transaction must be powerful enough, or our system must be powerful enough to commit the transaction or abort the transaction or undo all the changes which are made, or probably sometimes redo all the changes which we have made. We'll go for the diagram and then we'll go back to the various states of transaction. The state of transaction is one of the important questions which will be generally asked in the question paper, but nowadays the things have already changed, and you are least bothered about writing the objective questions. You have most of the time objective questions. So state of the transaction. A transaction will be in one of these 5 states at any point of time when it is under execution. When a transaction is under execution, it will be in one of these 5 states at any point of time. Okay, it will be when we have a smooth transaction, there is no confusion. The transaction will be beginning and it will be in the active state. It will be in the active state. Okay, and if everything is well organized, everything is smoothly getting executed, all the read operation, write operations will be performed, and we are going to end the transaction. Okay, so this is a very simple method, or this is a very simple understanding. So begin transaction, it will be in active mode and it will be ended. Once the transaction is ended, we will have to take a decision whether the things need to be reflected or not, made changes or not. Okay, so we will go to the database and make the changes in the second state. At this moment, the transaction will be in partially committed state. Okay, we have finalized all the changes. Now we are ready to commit, and now we start the process of committing. We start the process of committing towards finishing committing. So that will be a partially committed state. From this also we can roll back. There is no issue. From this state also we can roll back. Otherwise, we will commit and change the database to the committed state, or transaction to the committed state. When transaction is committed, the changes are reflected in the database. It is going to get in the terminated state. Okay, the transaction is completely over. Its changes are finally reflected. This is a state when the transaction is properly executed. When the transaction has no problem in execution, a smooth execution has happened. So from active state to partially committed state, from partially committed state to committed state, and from finally committed state to terminated state. This is the smooth functioning of your transaction. But it is not always true. It's not always true. Sometimes the transaction becomes active and doesn't reach to the end state. Doesn't reach to the end state. Okay. So at that moment, we are going to abort the transaction as failed and terminate it. Okay, we abort the transaction as failed and terminate it, and at that moment, whatever temporary changes are done will be uh, undone, will be uh, rolled back. Okay. Second possibility is after active state, we go for the end transaction. The transaction is ended. Now after end, we have in our transaction is in partially committed state. From this point also you can abort, or it may automatically get aborted, or you may abort it. So from that also we come to the failed state, and from of course failed state we are going to move to the terminated state. Okay. So these are the 5 states of transactions which the transaction achieves, and uh, it means when the transaction is under execution, it will be in one of these 5 steps. Okay, if we try to see it theoretically in active state, a transaction enters into an active state when the execution process begins. During this state, the read or write operations can be performed. In the partially committed state, the transaction goes into this state after the end of transaction. In committed state, it has already completed its execution successfully, and all of its changes are recorded to the databases permanently. That is the committed state. Failed state, the transaction considered failed when any one of the check fails and if the transaction is aborted while it is in the active state. तो ये fail कब होगा जब उसके we perform the end of transaction and we make the checks whether all the things are properly reflected or not, and if we find that the check is not properly done or check is failed, then we are going to fail the entire transaction. And terminated state will be the last state, which will be led after committed or after failed state. Okay, so these are the 5 states of transactions which we need to take care. This was an introductory discussion towards transaction. What is a transaction? How it is executed? What happens if the transaction is not properly executed? Why there is a need to have concurrent transaction? What problems may happen because of the concurrent transaction? And when the transaction is execution, what will be the states it is going to take? This was our discussion towards the introductory discussion towards transaction. In the next lecture, we are going to see what are the properties a transaction need to maintain and how we can maintain the concurrent execution of transaction using serial schedules or serializability of the transactions that we are going to see in the next lecture. Okay, this is all from my side today. If you have any doubts, you can stay back and ask. Otherwise, you can leave. Thank you very much.